Hello, hello. Welcome to today's episode, Vloggity Vlog. It is January 20th, which means that it is episode 71? I wish I knew. I'm trying to figure out which episode it is. I think it's 71, but I'm not sure. I will have that in the title, whichever episode it is. I lost count. So, today I went to a float tank. As y'all know, let me make sure my audio is recording. Good. As y'all know, a couple weeks ago I won a fat loss challenge at my gym. And I was very excited and happy about that. And it made me very happy. And in the process, I won a few things. I won a tank top. First tank top I've ever worn or owned. I like how I look in it now. It's pretty nice. I've also won a dinner for two at Fogo de Chao. It's where I chose to go. And I also won a float tank, an hour float tank, which I did a couple hours ago. And it was awesome. It was enjoyable. It was fun. And it was illuminating for me. I enjoyed very much getting some quiet time and having more stillness than I've ever had before. Stillness that was, it's almost like as the water, because you go into the water, it's maybe like a foot deep, and it has 1,400 pounds of Epsom salts dissolved in it. And the room is like, it's like maybe a couple feet taller than I'm tall. Like I'm 5'6", 5'7" without my inserts and my shoes on. So it's probably 7 feet or so on both sides. And I go in and I go down and the water is moving a little bit, but as I stay more still, it's completely pitch black. I have earplugs in and it's soundproofed. I have tinnitus, so I'm hearing ringing, but I'm not hearing anything else. The water settles down and my mind settles down. And there were some moments that got sort of close to a psychedelic state. And I just felt still. I've meditated before, but it was so much more intense in a good way. There's a lot more stillness because there wasn't anything outside me. There weren't any sensations that were bothering me. I was floating in the water because the water's more dense than you are. So much salt dissolved in it, Epsom salt, which also relaxes your muscles. And aside from the occasional bump where my head or my feet touched the walls, and then at first I had my hands up here, so my fingertips were touching the walls, and then I put my hands down. Aside from that, there was no sensory input, and it was amazing. And I got to meditate without even trying, because you don't really have to try. Your thoughts come up like unanswered emails, and once you answer, as you answer the emails that your mind gives you, you answer more and more of them. You get to inbox 0, but with your mind, with your thoughts. And over there, you can't see it because it's all out of focus. I came up with a phrase to bring back because I want to integrate the lessons that I learned while sitting on my own in a pitch black room with no sensory input for an hour. I realized there's this phrase, there's this concept, and the concept is that thoughts, so there's this consciousness that is within you, that is looking out of you, that is not your body, it's just inside your body, kind of like your body is a vessel for this piece of the divine, if you will, for this light that's turned on, right? This light that's turned on looks out through your eyes. Your body, and one fact I like to go back to is every 7 years, depending on which tissue, 7 years is the longest. For the longest tissue, red blood cells get replaced every 4 days, I believe. It's actually the reason why your poo is brown, because your red blood cells, they turn brown like for some reason they turn brown, so you're like pooping out a ton of dead red blood cells. That's why it's brown, believe it or not, because they get replaced so often. But your bones, I think, are the limiting factor. Every single molecule in your bones are replaced by another molecule. Like an oxygen is now replaced by a different oxygen molecule. And every single molecule in your bones is replaced every 7 years. So 7 years ago, it was a different, you point to a random oxygen molecule, a random nitrogen atom. I keep saying, I meant to say atom. A random nitrogen atom. It's a different one than you started with. And you had 7 years ago. And every other tissue in your body does that quicker. Your bones take 7 years, plus or minus whatever. I mean, it's about 7 years. And they take the longest. So if you are not physically the person you were 7 years ago, then how can you say you are your body? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And 7 years from now, your physical makeup will be 100% different atoms than it is now. You will literally not be your physical body. You will not be your physical body. Your physical body, the things, the materials that make up your physical body will be in other things. So that's kind of fascinating. So you can't say that you're your physical body. So who are you? And that's a spiritual question. And the answer is you are the thing that is looking. You are the thing that is observing. You are the observer. And the observer looks through the eyes of you. And when you die, the energy that your observer takes up will be returned to the cosmic consciousness. I've experienced that one time on an LSD trip. Pretty profound. Take my word for it. You don't have to. Take it with a grain of salt. You can completely ignore everything I said before. But there's that idea, and then the thoughts are things that you are experiencing. Whether you like Tony Robbins or not, he's a very influential and I would say very helpful character when it comes to self-awareness and transformation and being in control of yourself. He said something I love. He says, he talks about the thoughts that you believe in versus old thoughts that you don't need anymore. Thoughts are just things that you're experiencing. So if you are the observer, if you are the thing that is aware, the thing that is looking, then a thought comes across your vision almost like a cloud, right? Like a cloud or like a leaf going down the stream. You're not necessarily in control of the leaf. You can like go out and hold on to the leaf if you want to. And you can like choose to focus on, I only want to look at the red leaves, or I only want to look at the blue leaves. I only want to look at the yellow leaves if it's fall or whatever. Or I don't know, the flowers or in the whatever, you know. I only want to look at these leaves, not those leaves. I only want to look at the oak leaves and not the yew leaves. All these things. You can choose to react to the thoughts in a specific way, but the thoughts are just things going down the stream. And it helped me realize, like, okay, the differentiation. There's the observer, there's the thoughts. So here's the observer looking at the thoughts. But sometimes the observer gets attached to the thoughts. There are these attachments, like, oh, I want to remember that. I want to feel that. I want to, feeling this makes me feel significant. Feeling this validates my worry, or validates my happiness, or validates my love, or validates my uncertainty, validates my fear, right? This thought validates something, or this thought, I am identifying with this thought. I am believing this thought. I am holding on to this thought. And I like to think, an image came to mind as I was thinking this, as I was writing this down, and after I got out of the floating place, I walked around and I wanted to like think about this and integrate it. So it wasn't just a cool experience, but it was an experience that I took with me into my life, and it changed my life in a certain way. I made the decision before I went into the float tank, I'm going to come out a different person. I need to. Otherwise it would be a fucking waste. Yes, I didn't pay for it, I earned it. And I also just lost fat for myself. I didn't really like lose fat in order to win the competition. I lost fat because I want to look great. But I spent time today to go there, and I don't want to waste that time. I want to go into this float tank, learn something, and come out a different man. And I did. And so how do I make sure that these changes, these lessons that I've learned, I integrate them into my life? And so I came up with this phrase, which I have on the wall behind me, and I also pinned it upstairs. And the phrase is, let the leash go. I, as the observer, as the thing looking out between my eyes, sometimes get caught up with thoughts. And I've had this visualization where this image just popped into my head as I was thinking about it. It's like me, I'm holding on to like a bunch of dogs, and these dogs are like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And the dogs are like, I want to look at this leaf. Or like say like the thoughts are like squirrels, like I'm in a park and the thoughts are just like different squirrels like jumping around, right? And I'm holding on to like 30 dogs, and each dog wants to like go after this thought, go after this thought, and they're like, argh! And so I'm like being pulled in all these directions. I have all these leashes, and I'm being pulled in all these directions. I can just let the fucking leash go. I mean, and in this analogy, the dogs could leave and they could come back, but I am not attached to that. So the dogs represent the desire to follow a thought. The squirrels represent the thought. I represent the light that is on, the piece of consciousness that is looking through my eyes and perceiving the world, the observer. And the leash represents my attachment to this desire. Now, desire is great, and I think it's useful to hold on to a leash at some point. At points in your day, points in your life, points in your week, in your month, hold on to certain leashes and don't fucking let go. But do that by choice. Do that by choice. Don't do that because you're by default holding on to all of your leashes and all of your attachment to all of your desire, right? If you want something in life, I have goals. I have a bunch of whiteboards with fucking tons of goals on them. I have 2021 goals, 2022 goals, 2023 goals, and 2030 goals. And then I have 2040 goals, but I haven't written them down because I want to get this done. I want to get this decade done first. And then once I get this decade done, then I'll deal with 2040 goals. I have these goals. And that means that I'm holding on to certain leashes. Leashes that are connected to my desire to anything related to these goals. Like say I have a thought that has something to do with an idea for Passion Unchained, right? That has to do with all my goals include Passion Unchained. So that means that I have a desire to focus on Passion Unchained, and I am willfully holding on to a leash attached to that desire. I want to follow thoughts that help me with that. But if there's worry about something I have no control over, like it's going to rain on Sunday when I do my weekly hike, the only thing I should be paying attention to is like, okay, let me check Friday, and if there is, then come up with something different. And aside from that, I should have no focus on it. I should let the leash go. There might be a desire to follow those thoughts, but I've dropped the leash. I've dropped the fucking leash because I don't need it. I might worry about worry in general is just unnecessary. I might worry about paying rent next month. Okay? So then the only thing to do is, okay, let me do something about it. Let me decide to do something about this worry. Let me decide to do something about this worry. Go do extra hours on Uber, put up extra Amazon affiliate links on these videos so that y'all can have a great time with great products that improve your life, that help you live a life you love, like my blue blockers. I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description below in case you want the blue blockers I use. I get a small commission if you buy them, which is great because they help you and they help me, and it's a win-win. And also Amazon gets some help too. And then I should let it go. I'm deciding to take this action, and then I let it go. I let the leash go. There might be some desire to follow the thoughts that match worry about financial situation, worry about rent, but I've let the leash go. And so that dog is running and chasing after that squirrel, and I'm here enjoying my life because I've taken the action I can take, and that's it. I hope this helped you. This analogy made things very clear for me, and I'm hoping it helped you be more in control of your life and be more intentional with your life, because I found that one really cool thing about intention is it helps you self-author your life and live more passionately that way. Unchain your passion by being in control of your life. There we go. I've discovered a concise way to say it. These vlogs are more me rambling and discovering my thoughts as I share, and talking about things that I hope and I believe will help you self-author your own life and build a life you love to live and unchain your passion in the process. So I hope that helped you. If you liked this, like it, subscribe to my channel, and share to your friends on Snap Text or TikTok or whatever you kids use nowadays. Until tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow I'll be releasing a DIY video, so until... Will it be tomorrow? I think that's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'm releasing the DIY video, so it will be until Friday.